Kakadosh, Boker Or. Bekiim Halacha 5, day 42, page 106, Siman Lamed Bet 32, Halacha Kuf Samich Vav 166. Now we're talking about the titura and the ma'avarta. Remember that the titura is the bottom part of the tefillin. The ma'avarta is like a ma'avar. Ma'avar is like a passageway. So where the straps go through it, that's called the ma'avarta. According to Halacha Moshe Sinai, each of the tefillin batim must have a titura, which is the leather platform covering the bottom of the ktsitza. Okay, the ktsitza was basically the top part of the bite. Right? The literal meaning of the word titura is a plank of a bridge. Besides, the Halacha Moshe Sinai requires the bottom to have a ma'avarta. This means a leather extension on the back of the titura through which the tefillin strap goes through. The word ma'avarta means a passageway. The strap is not tied to the bite. It is pulled through the ma'avarta, and then a knot is tied on the strap itself. Technically, the titura ma'avarta can be made from a piece of leather, right, that is later attached to the bite. But the common practice nowadays is to make the ktsitza, right, titura and ma'avarta from a single piece of leather, as explained above in Halacha 131. Okay, if you look in 143, the footnote, it says the language of the Shulchan Aruch suggests that the titura is another piece of leather that is either sewn or glued together to the ktsitza. The Mishnah Berurah explained that although many poskim rule that 4 compartments of the tefillin shalosh must be made from a single piece of leather, they agree that the titura ma'avarta can be made from another separate one, but he recommended that people should buy it from an entirely single piece. And that's what the common practice of Baghdad was. Okay, fine. 167, Kuf Samech Zayin. As explained above in Halacha 133, the titura must be shaped as a perfect square, both on its top and the bottom. Even though the leather of the titura extends on one end in order to form the ma'avarta, the square dimensions of the titura defined since manufacture cuts away the wedges from the ma'avarta so that there's a clear declination between it and the titura on the top and the bottom. The Halacha does not specify how much must be cut away from the ma'avarta for this purpose. As long as it is enough for the square titura to be clearly visible on the onlooker, it's enough. The wedges cut away do not have to be of matching sizes. Even if one side has more cut away than the other side, or if the amount cut away on the top does not match the bottom part, it's acceptable. All that matters is that the edge described by the cut on one of the sides, the edge of the other side in a straight line, so that they give the titura the form of a perfect square. The wedges cut away from the ma'avarta must come to sharp corners, clearly defining the spot where the titura ends and the ma'avarta begins. If either one is rounded, it's going to be a problem. Okay, 168. Just as the Halacha requires that the sides of the titura have no pocks or dips that would detract from being a perfect square, the portions of its fourth side that are cut away from the ma'avarta must likewise have no pocks or dips. The leather forming the ma'avarta, however, does not need to be any symmetry. It is kosher even if its ends are rounded or if it's bent upwards or downward from the titura. Cracks, pocks, or tears do not detract from being kosher. In fact, even if the ma'avarta is shorter than the titura, it's still kosher as long as it still serves the purpose of holding the tefillin straps in place. Kuf Samechtet 169. The ma'avarta should not be made wider than necessary, for that makes it more difficult to position the tefillin properly in the arm and the head. It should not be made too narrow either, for then the strap will have to be folded in order to fit through. The width of the passageway inside the ma'avarta should ideally be equal to the width of the strap. So therefore it should be equal, right, one with the other. Okay? Now he comes and he says, 170, the bite of the tefillin Shelyad also needs to have the titura ma'avarta with wedges cut away to give the titura square dimensions. On the side where the knot is to be placed, a larger portion is cut away. Halacha 171. The titura and the ma'avarta must be made of leather of a kosher animal since they are attached to the ktsitza and become an integral part of the bite. And this we already explained above in Halacha 126. The last Halacha 172. The rules regarding the square leather piece that is glued onto the upper portion of the titura were explained above in Halacha 132.